impact. With that, I want to thank a longtime friend and expert in the medical field, Dr. Timothy Quinn, for joining us this morning. Dr. Quinn has agreed to give us an overview of a few points with regard to the pandemic and the vaccination. We've shared with him several questions that you provided us. And with that, again, Dr. Quinn, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thank you for having me. Well, I'm going to just go ahead and dive into these questions because I want to give you the information that you all specifically requested. Now, the first question is dealing with the booster shot, and the question is for those that have been vaccinated, have taken that very courageous step to health for the state of Mississippi and our world. Will we need a booster? All right. Now, the Moderna, the Johnson and Johnson, and the Pfizer are the three options that have the FDA emergency use authorization at this current time. Right now, with the new variant, that was the question, the Delta variant. What is the chance that we will need a booster shot? This is currently under investigation. There was a news release that came out a couple of days ago in regards to the Johnson and Johnson, as far as its effectiveness with this new Delta variant. Right now, there's not a concrete answer to that, but what we have to do is just trust the science and just understand that if they're revealing that it's questionable that there might be a booster, that doesn't mean that the vaccine was not good. It just means that the people that monitor for our safety are letting us know on the spot what's going on. They're being very transparent, and that's something that we want. So I suggest that everybody just continue to get vaccinated, but just understand that we might have to get a booster. As of now, boosters are not yet recommended, but it looks like we're going in that direction. But just remember, this is a very fluid situation, meaning that things are changing as we go along. So the information is being updated every day. Now, the second question is in regards to people with weakened immune systems. And someone noted in the question that African Americans might have a higher prevalence of having lower white blood cells. With all that being said, if someone does have a weakened immune system, they should get the vaccination even more than anyone else. Because we have to remember, if you contract COVID-19, which is a viral infection, your body, what it does is it creates what's called an immune response, and it fights the virus off. If you have a weakened immune system, that means that your combat or your defense of fighting off the virus is weakened. That makes you more vulnerable and susceptible to getting more sick, requiring hospitalization, possibly a ventilator, or even losing your life. So if you do have a weakened immune system, you need to get the shot more than anybody. Now, the one fact is, if you do get the vaccination, you might not produce the same immune response as somebody with a stronger immune system, but something is better than nothing at all. So with the coronavirus pandemic that's going on right now, we need everything we can as far as our immune defense to fight it off. So definitely get the shot if you have a weakened immune system, but everyone needs to get the shot, get the vaccination. Now, the third question is the COVID vaccine safe for people with allergies? I actually did a story on this a little while back. Right now, the the ingredients of the coronavirus vaccination include something called messenger RNA. This is part of your own body's nucleic material that helps you with producing different proteins within your body. So it's pretty much a natural product that's been synthesized to produce the volume of these vaccines. Now, some of the ingredients could be questionable, but there are very few people that have had allergic reactions to these vaccinations. The good news is when you get the vaccination, you get it in a medical setting, either a doctor's office or a pharmacy, where they're equipped. If you do have an allergic reaction, they'll be able to provide you the care that you need so that so that you're safe. But if you've had an allergic reaction to your first vaccine, if you're getting the Pfizer or the Moderna, then it would be advised not to get the second vaccine. But other than that, the vaccines have been determined safe, and there's no cross allergies that are significant that should stop you from getting the vaccine unless you've had an allergic reaction to, say, another vaccine like maybe the flu vaccine or the MMR. Then you want to let the healthcare provider know, and then they can make a decision on the spot. Number 4, are there studies that have examined the effects of pregnancy? As to date, now for studies to do for the ERB to do authorization to do studies on pregnancy, that's very difficult because of all the ethical dilemmas. But I can confirm that some of the individuals that were in the normal studies, meaning that they weren't pregnant when they started, because these studies have been going on for a long period of time now, some of the people did get pregnant while they were in the study and they got the vaccine. Some didn't know they were pregnant yet, but they did get the vaccine, and there have been no problems at all. But scientifically, if you do get the vaccine and you're pregnant or you're in the process of getting pregnant, there's really no complication, because all the vaccine does is it causes your body to produce antibodies that attack the coronavirus, and this is not harmful to you. If anything, it's protective. And the science has released data to demonstrate if you do get coronavirus while you're pregnant because you didn't get the vaccine. Now, if you get the vaccine, you can have a breakthrough infection. But if you did not get the vaccine, there's a much higher probability that you will get coronavirus and you are pregnant. Then you have to worry about the complications of not the vaccine, which are very small to none, but the complications of coronavirus. And if you're pregnant and you get coronavirus, there's a possibility that it could result in you losing your baby or your baby being born preterm with birth defects. So getting the vaccine could actually not only protect you, but it can also protect your unborn child. It says, why should a person get vaccinated if they can still contract COVID? Very good question. There are some breakthrough infections that are going on. But the good news is the breakthrough infections, meaning someone has gotten the vaccination and 2 weeks have gone by, they've developed a full immunity, but now they've contracted COVID. What the science is showing us is these people have antibodies in their body for COVID. So even though they contracted COVID, they're able to kick it in the dust because they have those antibodies. And these individuals that have gotten vaccinated and gotten COVID later, and overall, they have a much less chance of getting sick. Most of these individuals that contract COVID, they might have a little runny nose, just some very small symptoms, and do just fine. But individuals, especially with this Delta variant, they're getting COVID, they have a much higher chance of losing their life. So remember, what the vaccine does is it gives you some protection. And as I said, some protection is better than none at all. How long do the antibodies last from someone that's recovering from COVID? It just varies per person. If you've gotten COVID, you do have some antibodies, but it's still good to get vaccinated because the science has shown if you get vaccinated, the protection goes up tenfold. So you have some protection, but if you get that vaccine, if you've had COVID in the past, now you're even stronger. And if you ever get COVID again, man, your antibodies are so robust, there's so little chance that you'll get any sickness at all. What percentage of COVID vaccines are causing health issues? Very, very small. In maybe 1 or less percent. Very few people have gotten a COVID vaccine and had problems, but a great percentage. A lot of people that have gotten COVID have had a lot of complications, including over 600,000 deaths in the United States. And I think death is a very bad complication, and that's very common with somebody getting coronavirus, and which the vaccine can help protect you from getting. How are the vaccines safe when the FDA hasn't approved them? Now, what the FDA has provided is what's called emergency use authorization. So they're approved, but it has not finished the full approval. And the only reason for that is, as I said early on, the FDA and all the other organizations are very responsible for your care. So the only reason it's not fully approved is it has to go through the time that it takes to get to that full authorization. But all the studies have been analyzed thoroughly, and it's been determined that the vaccine is safe, and that's why we have the emergency use authorization. Um, with so many of the best doctors working on the warp speed, is it still safe? Were the vaccines produced too quickly? No. This was a very, very urgent situation, and the United States and other countries have all worked together, which doesn't happen very often, in producing this vaccine very quickly. But note, the vaccine, although it is a new vaccine, some of the same technology was used with the Ebola virus vaccine that was produced years ago, this messenger RNA technology. So, although it's a new vaccine, they use some old technology that has been researched and proven safe. So it's not as new as a lot of people think. What kinds of common conditions would lead a doctor to recommending not getting vaccinated? Um, to my personal knowledge, I don't know of any conditions that we would tell a person not to get vaccinated. With people with pre-existing conditions, we're begging them to get vaccinated because this is the population that needs the most, because this population is the most vulnerable. Number 12, we got two more. In the absence of long-term studies, what information can we look that can speak to the way the vaccine may have on people? Right now, all we can do is understand the science, and the data is showing if we get vaccinated, it can help us not get coronavirus. But if we do get coronavirus with those breakthrough vaccines, we have a much higher probability of not getting sick and not losing our life. But we just have to continue to monitor and understand that the CDC and all the other organizations, they're not hiding anything. They're being transparent. They're letting us know what's going on the spot, so we'll continue to be informed. There have been concerns about J&J for women, Johnson & Johnson. I know there were blood clots in the past. But remember, when there was a concern, I don't know if you all remember or not, but they pulled J&J, Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They made it not available for a period of time until they had an opportunity to really look at it and make sure it was safe. And what they determined was, if you are a female and you take birth control, you have a higher probability of getting a blood clot than if you took Johnson & Johnson. And I know a lot of women have taken birth control for many years. So just note that there's always the potential of a side effect of any medication, even Tylenol. If you take Tylenol, it could cause liver failure. So, any medicine you take has the potential for side effects, and the vaccine's the same, but the risk definitely the benefit outweighs the risk, because the benefit is it can keep you from going into the hospital, getting very sick, and it can keep you from losing your life. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope that I've been very helpful to everyone. And I commend Hope Credit Union and Mr. Bynum for his initiative and his concern and commitment to the health of all of the employees. But not only that, Mr. Bynum, the families of the employees. So by getting vaccinated, there's less of a chance that they'll take the vaccine home to their families and their children. And note, right now, only children 12 years and older are approved to get the vaccine, but they're looking at possibly in the fall, children less than 12 down to 6 years old might be approved by then. So kudos to you, sir.
Thank you, and thank to you and your colleagues for being on the front line on behalf of so many of us. We really appreciate your time, and we'll let you go now, but it's good to see you. Take care. God bless.
Yes, sir.